Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Elise. I talk all things elevated living and being a mindful consumer. If you like that kind of content, stick around. I weave it into lifestyle vlogs as well, so you might enjoy that. Today's video is going to be a little bit like personal finance 101, and we're talking about how I track my expenses. If you're not into personal finance or budgeting or any of that stuff or investing whatsoever, tracking your expenses is the place to start for you. I know when I first started getting into budgeting, I was like, well, I can't set a budget because I don't know how much I'm spending. And truthfully, if you don't know how much you're spending, you're probably spending a lot more than you think you are. Our brains are like hardwired to protect us from anything painful, whether that be like physically or emotionally. And 9 times out of 10, looking at how much we've spent, especially if we think it's a lower number, is something that is painful to us. There's kind of like the bury your head in the sand method, where you could just not track your expenses and spend willy-nilly and have a budget that you blow past every month. Or you can really nail down those details and figure out what you're spending, where it's going, how can you save better, how can you cut back on spending, where are areas that you can upgrade and splurge in even. But you can't know all that if you don't know how much you're spending. So that's actually where my journey very first started. I'm building like a budget tracker now, but before that spreadsheet even existed and those formulas and those dashboards and visuals, all it was a simple spreadsheet of me tracking our expenses daily. When I say daily expenses, I don't mean like I'm tracking it daily, but you totally can. I just mean every single dollar, every single penny that we're spending gets tracked in the expense tracker. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my weekly process for this. I typically sit down with a coffee. It's Monday on my lunch break. I usually do this on Sundays, so I figured this is a good little catch up for me. Life has been insane. We're 2 weeks and some change off of our wedding. We just recently got married and life is finally starting to slow down again. So I feel like I can catch up with the expense tracking. I'm also kind of doing a no buy July. I am doing a no buy July, but there are a few things like I do have in mind that I am budgeting for, but I think it's just gonna be good for me to catch up and also at the same time show you guys how I track my expenses weekly. If you just need to give yourself that extra little push of tracking your expenses because again, your brain is literally averted to it, make yourself a coffee, grab yourself a sweet treat yourself to like a YouTube video or your comfort show on in the background and just track those expenses. You're gonna be so much better off for it. And I really wish I would have done this a bit more closely, like a long time ago. I think I only really started expense tracking when we moved into our new home. And before then I was using apps and like those were fine when I was on the go and looking at like what's my budget at, can I spend money in my budget, but I didn't exactly know what expenses and things I was spending money on daily. So this is my budget tracker, my expense tracker, and it's obviously pretty bare for July. And it is currently July 13th, so we do have a few transactions to log, hopefully not too many. I also do share my budget tracker with my husband, and we are in the process of like merging all of our accounts. So right now, these are going to just be my transactions, and then later, like I'll kind of backlog his, and then eventually they'll just be ours and like we'll just be one household. So right now, again, there's not a ton in here, but when I start populating everything, you'll see expenses by category, and then you'll also see the spending breakdown, which I find super helpful if you're trying to stay within a certain ratio. Some financial advisors give the typical 50-30-20 split, but now that life is so much more expensive, I've even heard 70-20-10, which is kind of where we're at. And if it's not 70-20-10, it's like 60-30-10 or 16-25-15. Like it doesn't have to be an exact number or a hard stop rule, but if you just want something to ballpark shoot for, maybe one of those ratios is for you. The 50-30-20 split, just to explain it really quickly, is 50% essentials, 30% discretionary spending, and 20% saving and investing. Do with that what you will. Adjust your ratio how you wish. So when I sit down to do my weekly expense tracking, I just open up whatever month we're in. We are currently in July, and then I'm going to go down and I have all sorts of different headings. I find this to be super useful. Obviously the date just helps me keep track of when things are being taken out of accounts. category, this links all the way back to my annual plan tab, and that's something that you guys see in my budget resets every single month. So I'm actually gonna hide all the way until July. That way it's like a fresh start for the month. And look at all that green, guys. We have so much room. We have so much to work with. And then I put in the transaction amount, I put in the merchant, and then I also put in what account or card this was spent with or bought on, simply because I want to make sure that if I have a credit card balance that I'm paying it off before I get any interest accrued on it, because my goal and like what I do is pay off my credit cards every single month. But now I'm also trying to not only pay them off the previous month's balance, but pay them off as soon as I make a purchase, because I'm finding it a little bit difficult to save extra or invest extra, because I'm finding that my credit card bills are astronomical at the end of the month. And I'm like, how did this happen? And it's because I have like, you know, a credit card lag of thinking I paid for something, but it was actually the previous month and I didn't actually pay for this month. So it's just like not working for me. So I just want to zero balance at all times. That is the goal. Not saying I'm anywhere near that right now, but that is the long-term goal. That's why account is important. Then I also have the column categorizing if it's essential, extra, or a future expense, as in like I'm saving and putting away for my future. And that pulls into my spending breakdown. So let's get into it. I have a lot to catch up on. I feel like it goes without saying, but I do want to mention you should know all of your card balances and all the accounts that you have, whether it's student loans and you're making payments towards that. Just knowing where literally every single dollar is going. It's not only going to put you ahead from like past you who had no idea where your money was going, but it's also going to help you see future you more clearly and save for future you. And future you will definitely thank you. I'm going to clip you here. Hopefully the audio doesn't like sound too far away now that you're on my shoulder, but fingers crossed. Wow, guys, I have actually done some damage spending. I do have sinking funds for like the travel that I'm gonna input. I'm not worried about paying for it, but just seeing it all on the page, like it's gonna be shocking. And again, it's one of those things where like, I know I spent that money, but I don't know what the total is. It's hard to visualize and see just like doing the mental math. So putting it on a budget tracker, expense tracker, or in a budget is so good for you. And I really want to stress and emphasize, it does not have to be fancy. It could be pen and paper. It could be anything, your notes app. Just do it. Like Shia LaBeouf once said, I am going all the way back to July 1st. I think I did track a lot of these expenses and then I was offline from Google and it just like didn't go through. So we're gonna have to do some of these again. Oh wait, I kind of feel like I know what happened here. I got to this one category and like did not know what to do. So I have the city clerk at the Bronx that I had to go get a duplicate marriage license for. So we'll just call that NYC city clerk. And it's good to like have these buckets that work for you and that are tailored to you. I do want to release this budget tracker, but if there is like an expense category that I don't have that you think would be useful, definitely comment down below. That was an essential purchase. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through the first all the way to today. As I'm filming this, it's the 13th. I just log everything and then come back to you guys. So those are all of my expenses logged up until today, up until this point. And I like to see that a lot of these are like essentials. I am categorizing my flights as essentials because those are things like I have already committed to in terms of being a bridesmaid, in terms of being at other events that I'm planning and like the guest of honor. So like that is to me an essential purchase. Things like gifts, however, are like, okay, that's not really essential. Healthcare, obviously essential. Then of course we have all of my transit costs are essential. I do need to get to and from work. Groceries, that's pretty much the bulk of everything that we have spent so far. And I do like to check all of my cards just to make sure I'm accurately logging every single transaction, because I do depend on this to plan for how much I'm going to be paying for my credit card at the end of the month. Obviously your credit card will tell you that too, but sometimes it feels like it just sneaks up on you and then like all of a sudden you have this major bill to pay. I am just going to go ahead and log our Roth IRA, like our retirement contribution, just because that does happen like at the same time every single month. And then if we look at the spending breakdown, currently we are at 46.5% essential purchases, 51.8% is saving and investing currently, so future us, and then we have 1.7% as extra spending, which is really nice to see because that was my whole point for this No Buy July. I do think gifting, I kind of like gave myself a little bit of an exception, but I would like to even like button that up a little bit more. But this isn't a budget breakdown, so we're not really gonna get too far into that. But then again, we have our expenses by category, and this visualization is just really helpful for me to be like, okay, what is this huge piece of the pie? Oh, I've spent a ton on travel. And I do have travel and transit separate because again, going to and from work is an absolute essential versus buying a flight for a vacation. Like that's like a discretionary spending kind of thing. So I like to see the breakdown this way and just visualize it. Now, when we go to my annual plan tab, you can see that every single expense that I tracked is pulling. So I have 148.36 already pulling for groceries. And then we can look at anywhere that it's red already and readjust accordingly. So for healthcare, I'm over, and I do know I have another office visit sometime soon, so I'm gonna bump this up to 50 and readjust accordingly. Then I also have gifts and donations that I'm over. I budgeted $0, and I'm not gonna add in for this budget. I just think like maybe I just need to at least put $25 for myself every single month, because even if I'm not buying a gift, maybe I'm buying gift wrap or tape or ribbon or something. Travel, I gave us $500 for a separate thing that I had in mind that it looks like we're not doing. And then we did book all of these flights, but we are gonna be pulling from sinking funds too. So that will also kind of help balance the budget. And you guys will see that in my August budget reset, which is coming in literally a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. But that is how I track my expenses. I do this weekly. It's almost like a payday routine, but since Arton and I get paid like on a different cadence than one another, it's definitely a little bit tricky. And then also the way we have our money set up, we're like in a transition phase right now, so I can't really show you guys a full out payday routine until we get that settled and like all of our accounts together and everything. But this is how it's done. And again, I so super encourage you to start a budget or start expense tracking at the very bare minimum. It doesn't have to be a budget. You can't even set up a budget if you don't even know how much you're spending every single month. So start here, do this. Again, pen and paper is totally fine. In your notes app, making like a very simple little spreadsheet, just get started. I know it's so easy to just spend emotionally, but that's also what's keeping you held back from reaching your financial goals and feeling financially free, and like either investing more or saving more and just allowing yourself more breathing room and to make decisions out of abundance rather than lack and fear and scarcity. Finances are definitely very emotional, but they can be really empowering if you view them as such. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little how-to on how I track my expenses every single week. It was really good for me to do this because I was a couple of weeks behind, but that's all the more reason to get back on the bandwagon. If I ever fall off, I don't just like never do this. Like if I have to do an entire month's worth of expense tracking in one go, I will. Sometimes I'll even do this daily, but when I start expense tracking, I can do things like reallocate the budget like you just saw, and it makes me feel, again, more in control of my finances, but I also know how to reach my goals with what income is coming in and how I'm spending it. I have an entire budget with me playlist. If you guys want to watch that, I'll have it linked at the end of the video. The algorithm is also going to recommend a video at the end of this one just for you, so stick around to see what that is. If you like these kinds of personal finance videos with like the sustainability through line and being a mindful consumer, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment down below your favorite type of video or something you want to see in the budget tracker. I want to launch this for you guys in the new year just because I want to make it as close to perfect as possible. It works really well for me, but I think I've mentioned before, just aesthetically, I want to level it up a little bit, and then really as a do, guys. Yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, I love you so very much. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, don't forget to be kind to yourself, others, and the planet. Bye.